Hello, everyone, and welcome to this short overview of Atlassian Rovo. Now, Rovo is a large language model deeply integrated into the Atlassian ecosystem and has basically access to every tiny piece of content, knowledge you and your team have produced in the last years. Now, Rovo is only available for the Atlassian cloud, so if you want to use it, you just have to migrate from data center into the cloud. Shout out to my colleagues. They can very much help you with that. Trust me. Now, given the fact that Rovo is deeply integrated into the Atlassian platform, you have a set of ways of using it. You can either use it directly in Confluence as a sort of large language model to answer questions about your company, about products, about services, about the goals you essentially have, or you can integrate it deeply into a automation, into a workflow your teams are using in the Atlassian ecosystem. And getting started with just the basic usage, you can head over to the top right corner, hit chat, and then this side window will now open up. And just to have a bit more real estate, we can click on this tiny button and go full screen. And this gives you a bit more overview about the chats you asked with Rovo, about some information about Jira, about all the things you and your team does in Atlassian. And just for the sake of this demo here, let's maybe find some information about what I actually did in Confluence yesterday, the week before, or maybe even last year. So you can highly specify this prompt, of course. This is just like a short intro into what Rovo is actually capable of. Now, Rovo returns some information, so it's all connected to Confluence, of course, and it gives me like the standardized Confluence user interface here, where I can directly hop into the Confluence pages. Maybe I want to add it or send to my colleagues, for example. Now, in this case, Rovo retrieved 5 items. Yes, I worked on an article about how to align ITSM with business objectives, and therefore present some best practices and strategies you can pursue. I worked on our Confluence page about our marketing weekly agenda, for example, where we essentially store every decision, every discussion ever made in our marketing team. And you can now prompt in follow-up questions just like you normally would in a large language model. The second way you can use Rovo is by using an agent. Now, Rovo already comes with a set of agents created by Atlassian themselves. And just for the sake of this demo, we can use the OKR generator and maybe even use one of the prompts here. Maybe Rovo can help me create an effective OKR for my team. So let's choose this one. Now, Rovo will think a bit, and as it's highly trained on the Atlassian world, it has some decent information. And just like ChatGPT or other models, you will need to answer some follow-up questions. Now, just for the sake of moving forward, let's say I want to generate more leads for our Atlassian ITSM campaign. There we go. And as a second thing, maybe I want to, my goal is to measure this goal success by saying I want to achieve a marketing attributed revenue of at least 30%. As a third one, it asks whether we have additional context. Just to keep this simple, I'm just going to tell him we want to be seen as the Atlassian ITSM expert in Germany. And when I hit send now, it will think a bit and review the question in order to give me a direct prompt back, which I can then review and maybe even use it directly. Or if I want to, I can also store it directly in Confluence as a new Confluence page in a certain space. Let's give it a minute until it's done. And there we go. Pretty much an OKR, right? Let's give it a thumbs up. And let's say we're good with that. Let's say, let's create a new Confluence page for this marketing OKR. And it will think a bit, review the question, analyze what should actually be doing, and then it will give it back to me. Okay, so it answered, and it wants to create this new page in our marketing space, this with the title Marketing OKR for Atlassian ITSM campaign. This is the content, and I can now say, okay, confirm, and it will now create this new Confluence page in our marketing space. And there we are. So if I'm just clicking on it, I'll be just there. And there it is. Perfect, right? Okay, let's head back to Rovo. Now, as mentioned, you can also create agents in Rovo. For the sake of this demo, I already created an agent. So let's just edit this agent just to give you a quick insight on how you can set something like this up. If you need help creating Confluence agents or any other AI agents, I'm always here to help. Just reach out to Xolt and we can set you up with some cool AI agents that actually make a difference and enhance productivity, maybe even performance of your team, of yourself, and make life easier a bit, of course. Now, this agent, just like the custom GPT on ChatGPT, is pretty easy to configure. So you give it a name. In this case, it's the marketing campaign helper. Now, the description is pretty straightforward. This agent helps the marketing team to create campaigns, and the instructions are a bit more in depth, of course. Just like a custom GPT, you need to specify the purpose of this agent, maybe even the role model, how it should act. Something like, hey, you are a seasoned marketing professional in creating digital and social media campaigns. Perfect, right? You can go even a bit deeper and tell him, hey, maybe even you are the expert in creating and setting up LinkedIn campaigns. So you would niche down a bit more, so it's a bit more specified. And then you give it some context, what it should do, how it should return the information, how to respond, if it needs further answers to create, let's say, a campaign. Maybe even the language. Maybe your team is internationally diversified, but you're only speaking German. You can just put in, hey, talk German to me, maybe. The tone, the style, some additional information like frameworks or best practices. You can also specify how it should actually start the conversation with you. So something like, hey, ask questions about XYZ. Or ask question 1, question 2, question 3, etc. All the things that it needs to gather in order for you to, get what you actually want. Can add conversation starters. So something like what gets started, you can specify here, even in the instructions, if I hit get started, it will respond and begin the conversation with these questions. Since it's, of course, Confluence, it's deeply integrated into all your tools, but you can also specify which tools you want the agent to have access to, or even just narrow down the spaces. So, for example, if this agent shall only have access to the marketing and sales content, you can specify this directly here. So I can just hit in marketing, and something like, there we go, and maybe even sales, and there we go. It should have access not to every Jira project, but maybe also just the marketing project. There we go. And we can specify that even further. Maybe we have some more information stored on our Google Drive. You can specify that as well. And then you just hit update or create, and you're basically good to go. So if I head back out, I can now choose the agent right from the drop-down menu, or if it's not there, I hit browse agent, hit this little tab and choose the marketing campaign helper, and you're good to go. Now, Rovo can do so much more. Since it's deeply integrated into Confluence, you can use it to automate certain workflows in Confluence directly. So, which this means, if I just head over to Confluence quickly and into the automation tab in my space settings, we can check out what's going on there. There we go. So now in our Confluence space, we can either specify that automations are king. We can either specify whether the automations are only supposed to be working in this space or in the entire Confluence. And we, for example, in marketing, we created this very simple workflow here. Whenever we have a marketing meeting or any other meeting, we can just type down discussed, maybe some action items, to-dos, goals, whatever. And Rovo will then summarize these information on the meeting page in order to send it to us, for example, into a Slack message. But the automation can go even deeper. So, for example, in this workflow, whenever I tag a page, Marketing Weekly, it archives this page, copies the same page, updates the name, moves the copied page back into our meeting subspace, then uses Rovo to create this summary. So it's just a very, very simple prompt by whether you want to use a set of pre-configured agents here. We'll send the response of the Rovo agent into a Slack channel and add the response as a comment down at the meeting notes as well, before it removes the Marketing Weekly label, so I can trigger this workflow again the week after and the week after. So it's almost highly automated. You can go even further than whenever the meeting is over or it's triggered by a timestamp. You can pretty much never have to work with something like this ever again. It saves you countless minutes every week, maybe a couple of hours per year, of course. But that's actually pretty handy. Now we can also head over to Jira or Jira Service Management, where Rovo is also deeply integrated. Now, if we are here in Jira, you can add Rovo to basically any workflow. So for this case, this is like an ITSM use case. Let's say you get a new ticket created in your ITSM dashboard. Some customer has a complaint, or maybe it's a bug. It's totally up to you how you want to see that, of course. And let's say a new issue is created, then the Rovo agent works on the ticket description, basically. So it analyzes what the ticket is about, and then it creates or decides whether this, let's say, ticket is, for example, about ITSM, about HR, about a bug, about maybe an error, maybe a feature request, etc. And depending on the issue category it specifies, the workflow then will commence. So it analyzes the ticket, then it edits the ticket description with the agent response, and let's say within the ticket, the topic is, for example, ITSM. Then it edits the issue fields, for example, assigns it to a certain person or a certain team. Then it sends out an email to this reporter. There's a new ticket, for example, or message, or sends in other notification, whatever. If it, for example, contains HR or bug or feature request, then it adds for example, in this case, HR, it adds a comment that says, okay, thank you for the information when somebody, for example, is sick and wishes them to get well soon again. And then we can also send out directly, again, an email to the issue and make sure that everybody is pretty much aligned. And then it transitions the issue, for example, into progress or on hold or backlog, or pretty much depending what's going on in this ticket, essentially. By doing this and adding that directly as an automation into your ITSM workflow or in general, you pretty much can create issues directly through a chatbot, for example, and it all highly specifies, identifies, and categorizes each issue without you actually having to do anything ever again. So it's always up to date, and you can be a bit more productive, I guess. You can also go as far as have Rovo analyze whether this ticket is actually something you need to work on, or whether this ticket has high priority, low priority, etc., or even whether this ticket needs to be worked on in general, or whether it can just be deleted, and if it's doing that, maybe just respond to the reporter that we got the ticket, but something is missing, for example. There are countless tickets in IT that goes something like, hey, this feature doesn't work, period. But no information about the app, no information about the customer, no information about what exactly isn't working. So how would anyone know what's going on, actually, right? And Rovo can pretty much help you with that. But besides that, you can use Rovo on so many different occasions. For example, you can also give Rovo access to your website, so it also retrieves information whenever something is edited in your website, and the team wants to be just updated. You can integrate it into countless other applications as well. So, for example, if your teams are building apps for the Atlassian Marketplace, you can add Rovo as a add-on, as a cool new feature that helps you within the app to do certain things under cover, for example, without you actually knowing that Rovo is helping you there as well. Okay, that's about it, and I hope you somehow got some information what Rovo can actually do. This only scratches the surface, of course, but it somehow also categorizes what Rovo is and what Rovo isn't. If you have any questions about Rovo, feel free to reach out to Xalt and just go ahead and ask anything you want to ask. If you need help in integrating Rovo into existing workflows, into existing processes, or just setting it up so it can retrieve information from your knowledge base, let us know. We're here to help. And until next time, have a great day, guys, and see ya.